Can't wait to hear it. I think you should arrest those two guys.
Good evening, Familia Angu.
Never heard of them.
Jumbo Mambo Familia Angu. Nyumbani Kwangu. Welcome, what am I trying to say? Karibu Nyumbani Kwangu. This is Eli. Eli. My channel is called Eli-Ben-Eli, and I have some interesting things to talk about today. But before I get into that, let me tell you, by the grace of God, by the grace of Allah, I currently have 204 subscribers. And again, I always have to say this. It may not sound like a big deal, but slightly over a month ago, I only had 14. So, you know, it's getting there. It's not getting there. I wish I could have a lot more, but you want to know what? I'm always grateful to Allah for the good things. And having more of you subscribe, you know, is a wonderful thing. I want to thank each and every one of you who has subscribed. I love you all. Please like this video and subscribe, and you know, tell a friend to tell a friend. I want to get to the point where I have a lot of followers, a lot of subscribers, not followers. Currently, I have over 14,000 views. So when I get to 1,000, it's gonna be a very nice thing. Anyway, I have a lot to talk about that's really kind of funny. The king of Nyabohanse, the emperor of Issbania, went to America and was walking around crowing like a rooster about how much money he had, and you know, just basically being his obnoxious self. And what do you think? What do you think happened? I predicted that a disaster was going to take place at some point or the other. I was betting my money on that Dylan was going to beat him up, but it didn't happen that way. What happened was that good old Mawra had a party, invited a couple of people, and then turned around and picked up this gorgeous looking white girl who flew 16 hours. 16 hours to get a little taste of that good old candy. to get some of Mawra's sausage, apparently. And throughout this whole thing, you know, Ivan is sitting there to the side, being ignored, trying to make himself a part of things, and Mawra keeps kind of like ignoring him and putting him to the side. So what finally happens is Mawra shows up like a gremlin, and they eat and everything, and not that long afterward, it turns out that Ivan tells him to get out. Threw him out. Suddenly, the king of Nyabohanse, the emperor of Issbania, is basically, you know, on the verge of being homeless in Washington, D.C. Washington, D.C., I lived there for several years. It is not a city that you want to be homeless in. Okay, it is a very, very, very vicious community when it comes to the streets, you know, but I predicted that it was going to happen. You know, it's like Nobody, I don't care how well off you are, is going to have a moocher, a bum, a beggar, living in their house, eating their food, drinking their drink. Gasoline and food, everything is expensive over here. But it's especially so back on the East Coast and in Washington, D.C. So it was only a matter of time. And plus, Mawra was just being a terrible person, a pain in the neck, even though it was really sad because after they kicked him out and he was in the car riding, he had his camera close to his face. And even though he had on sunglasses, you could tell that he was his eyes were full of tears. So I think that he was completely surprised that he was thrown out. The other thing that I wanted to talk about was one of my favorite characters, while walking around the streets of Nyabohanse up to his mischief, and that is Felo the boy. Felo the boy, who I think out of humility, he's gonna keep calling himself Felo the boy, but he should actually be calling himself Felo the man. Or better yet, Felo the lion. I'm convinced that Felo the lion is secretly smashing it with Mama Felicitas. You don't do that much for a single person without there being some romance that nobody knows about. But Felo the boy is definitely Felo the man with Mama Felicitas. Whenever he goes over there, she brings him tea, she brings him food. But anyway, Felo the boy is now Felo the man. He bought a piece of land, and I think that his stories are going to shift to him building a house and for himself and developing his land. And I don't know whether that's going to be for himself or for himself and his parents, but I kind of find that heartwarming. To finish, I just wanted to, okay, let me not laugh. I have found something out that's going to astonish all of you. Yep, Estela MUNYIVA has decided that her English is not good enough. So what do you do in Nyabohanse, a town full of English professors? What do you do when you decide that your English isn't good enough?
Where does it go? What does it say?
I know you're sitting there thinking, she went to Professor of English, the Redeemer, the Forgiver, the Redemptor of Nyabohanse already, like German, to learn English. No. Would have been too simple. She went to no less an adjunct professor of English. You got it, folks. She went to Professor Mapopo. She went to Professor Mapopo of the Mapopo Institute of English Studies. This isn't even a matter of the blind leading the blind. This is a matter of one clown taking over the circus, giving us a reason to laugh at the other clowns. Mapopo has decided to teach her how to speak English. And, this is a challenge. The challenge is that Mapopo himself doesn't know how to speak English.
What are you doing here?
I'm going to send him away.
Nyabohanse, if you need to have something to laugh at, look at what's going on in Nyabohanse. I would say something about Uncle Mo and Davy, and that in and of itself is a comedy. This is a house that no matter what these people do, they cannot complete it. They can't complete the fence, the ceiling on the outside, they can't get it put up. He can't find any water. The whole thing is a comedy. And you have David going around talking in this little woman's voice from grass to grass. We're so happy, changing lives. The whole thing is a farce. That I suspect that most of Nyabohanse would collapse if a strong wind hit it. But anyway, it's built by all of these experts of construction science. Anyway, my dear friends, thank you once again for having subscribed to me. If you're still listening to this video, thank you even more. And if you haven't liked and subscribed, please like and subscribe. Thank you very much. For those of you celebrating Ramadan Mubarak. For those of you celebrating Passover, Haksemiak, joyous Passover to you. And for those of you that are about to celebrate Easter, I hope you have a wonderful Easter. In the meantime, I'm very, very happy. This is a magical time of the year, and I'm just loving it. Thank you so much, and have a wonderful evening. Bye-bye.